Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to USA Global TV and Ricki's Kitchen. I am Ricki Mckenna, and I welcome you to my kitchen and to USA Global TV. We share the kitchen with everyone. And today actually is my 60th show with USA Global TV. Cannot believe that. And we're going to have a lot of fun today because we're doing an easy peasy recipe. Simple, easy, and absolutely delicious. Just a little bit about me. I am a certified nutritionist for 23 years, going on 24. I am an author. And besides being a chef, here's my book. Yes, you can eat well and eat right. And that's the whole point of the book. It's not just a cookbook. It lets you know about some nutritional information about the foods, as well as there's over 30 recipes in it that are mostly healthy. And so today we're going to do a little recipe I call the amazing sweet potato recipe. And I had a lot of fun doing this at a book signing last week when people were saying, oh, I never heard of a sweet potato salad. And they taste it and go, this is amazing. And just for fun, I will show you the actual name of the recipe is amazing sweet potato salad. And you can see there's only a few ingredients. There's about, eight ingredients. So we will get started. But just first, as a nutritionist, I'd like to give you a little bit of information about sweet potatoes because people, I don't think people really know that most of the time they call them yams. Well, yams are unusual because actually they're not usually yams that you find in the supermarkets. Most of them are a variety of sweet potatoes. And I have two different kinds here that we're going to be using today. This is what's known as a sweet potato. You can see it's usually orange, a pretty orange color on the inside. And then we have a purple one. And these are absolutely delicious. And I'm using the two in the salad today. And I'll show you how to peel them in a minute with a quick and easy hint of how to do it. But what I wanted to show you is that sweet potatoes and yams both are rich in both fiber and antioxidants. Beta carotene, of course, with the color orange, you should be able to tell that, same as carrots. And they're also very possibly nutritionally helpful in preventing cancer and heart disease and age-related macular degeneration. Say that 3 times in a row. And they're actually a wonderful buy. They're anywhere, the organic ones are anywhere from $2 to $4 a pound, depending on where you go for them. And I think that's about the price that's available in most grocery stores in the United States. I'm not sure about overseas, but have a look at them. They're rich in A, C, and B6. B6 is a very interesting vitamin because it's very helpful for carpal tunnel. If anyone has suffered with the carpal tunnel, B6 does tend to help with it. They're also a good source of potassium and magnesium. Now, this is all in your book. When you purchase the book on Amazon, you'll find all this. There are yellow, purple, orange, and varieties of all kinds. And they all have a little bit of different taste. And that's one of the reasons I'm using the 2 different ones in the salad today. And they are highly antioxidant, which means they help prevent things possibly like cancer. I'm not making any medical claims. I can't do that. But they're also lower in calories and carbohydrates than many other root vegetables. And they may have more carbohydrates than some of the non-starchy vegetables like carrots or tomatoes or broccoli and your leafy greens. However, don't fear them, please, because they're very good for most people. And if you don't really know how they taste, go get one and bake it. And I'll give you some hints on baking it. Most of the time I will scrub. My mantra is scrub, don't peel, because many of the vitamins and minerals are found in the peels as well as the fiber, which most people really need. So let's see. Baking them is one way to do it. You can cut them up and boil them if you like. I prefer baking in the skins because it locks in all the flavors and the juices to the potato. So, and actually, let's see, just a note. Yams are native to Africa and Asia, and they vary in size from that of a small potato to a record, I love this, 130 pounds. I don't know how much that is in kilos, but about half of that. As of 1999, that was a record yam that was measured at 130 pounds. And compared to sweet potatoes, yams are a little bit drier and starchier. And there are over 600 varieties of yams, and 95% of the crops are grown in Africa. And unless you specifically search for yams here, at an international supermarket, you're probably using sweet potatoes, which is fine. They're great. And so we'll get to our recipe. The first thing I want to show you, I bake them, I scrub them first, because I just do that naturally. And I'm going to put on gloves to remove the peels because they get a little messy. When you do bake them for this recipe, don't bake them as you would to eat them. We don't want them mushy. We want them soft, but still firm enough to use in a salad. So I bake them at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes, and then I turn the oven off and actually let them sit in there for about 10 minutes. So the first thing you do, let's do this first. First thing you do when you're cooking them, before you cook them, oh my goodness, this one got a little overdone, is you score. You take a knife and you score the potato all the way around, and I score them both ways. So you kind of make a crisscross on the sides. And then you take the potato and the skin, and it will come off beautifully, just like that. So we're going to peel them because we are using them in a salad, and this one got a little bit too well done, but it's good. So we'll take the skin, and once you score them, it's a lot easier to get them. You can peel them first, but this is so much simpler, and it just takes a couple of extra minutes, whereas peeling usually takes forever. And you can see it's just coming right off. Okay, there we go. And I'll cut out a little bit of the not so pretty parts. This one did get a little bit overcooked. Let's see how this one is. And if you're like me, I will take these potato skins later and probably put a little bit of butter on them and go ahead and eat them because I love potato skins. It's interesting how in the States, I'm not sure about overseas, but I think in Australia, I did have some stuffed potato skins, which are a treat as far as I'm concerned. And I do eat the skins. I make sure that the restaurant, wherever I'm eating them, has scrubbed the skins as well. And you can see how easily the peel's coming off. And you can also pick out a few of the little black spots if there are any. And this is the reason for gloves. It makes life a lot simpler and cleaner. Okay. So we'll peel our potatoes first. And then I try to pick, when I'm doing this salad, I try to pick the long skinny ones so that I don't have to do a lot of chopping and everything to put them in there. So you get the long skinny kind. And here's our purple one, which is beautiful. And it does have a little different flavor. They're absolutely delicious just with butter. And if you like, you can do the butter, sour cream, chives, and all that, but I wouldn't. I would simply do some butter or some ghee to give them a little bit of more juice, although there's plenty of juice in here. This one is a little firmer than the others, and it takes a little bit longer to cook, so this one is actually perfect. Yep. Okay. And sometimes the skin gets a little stubborn coming off, but it's okay. We're going to put it in the salad, so we can just, you can use a knife if you need to, but there we go. And what I wanted to show you was that it's very simple to do this. As I get stuck in a piece of skin. Okay, here we go. You can see it's like unwrapping a gift. So you have the gift of the sweet potato once you've unwrapped it. And let's cut the end off this one. The ends, of course, since they're thinner, will get a little bit more done. So you can include them afterwards, after you mix, because when you're mixing the salad, you don't want mush. And you want the potatoes to be rather firm. Cooked, but firm. So kind of al dente, as we would say with a pasta. There we go. Okay. So now we have our 3 naked sweet potatoes. And let's get this out of the way. And I'm going to cut them into bite-sized pieces. And that's the reason that I try the long skinny ones, because it's actually a lot easier when you're cutting them up. And so this one is done. So I'm going to cut it in half first, lengthwise, and then bite-sized pieces. I think you can see what I'm doing. Okay, and put them in our bowl. And of course, let them cool, by the way. Once you've cooked them, let them cool, and then they will hold together a little bit better. That's the end, and it's a little more well done, so we'll take that out. And this is a very interesting dish because you can do it in a hurry at home. You could actually cook the potatoes the day before or the night before and put them in the fridge, or even at room temperature. This is going to be so pretty. And then cut them when you're ready to do the salad. Here we go. This guy's a little bit too mushy. For some reason, this one got cooked, and it's interesting because it's a bigger potato than the others, so I'm not going to use this one. This one gets into eat it later for lunch. Okay, so we'll just use the 2, and you can see how pretty they are. That's going to make a really pretty salad. And I will just clean up a little bit here from the potatoes. Excuse me, but I really have to taste. I can't resist. Yum. Okay. Now we've established that does taste good. And now the next ingredient is our red pepper. It's a red bell pepper. And if you can get organics, please do. And we're going to take the red bell pepper and cut it up into bite-sized pieces. And of course, first we have to make sure there's no seeds in it. We have to make sure that nobody is producing red pepper seeds in their tummies. And when I was a kid, I always thought that apple seeds and pepper seeds were going to cause my tummy to grow them, but it didn't. Okay, so we've got this. I'm going to chop this into bite-sized pieces. You can do, pardon me, slices, or you can do bite-sized pieces. In this salad, I really prefer the bite-sized pieces just because. And that's up to you. If you want to do it in strips, that's fine. I find that the bite-sized pieces with the potatoes, especially if they're a little bit soft, can be a little too much. So I'm going to add a little bit more of the red pepper. You can add as much or as little as you like. Actually, in the book, the recipe calls for 2 pounds of sweet potatoes. And what I used today was probably about 3/4 of a pound. So you can cut the recipe down if it's just for one person or if it's for 2 people, and not have too many leftovers, although this will keep beautifully in the refrigerator for several days. You can put it into a sealed container and have it a couple of days later. And the nice part about it is you can use it as an accompaniment, or it does make a wonderful light meal, especially summery. And we're coming into summer season, so it does make a lovely light meal. Now we're going to add some red onion. And I'm also going to dice it. The red onion is an option in the book for your recipe, and I would definitely put it in. It does add a wonderful amount of amazing flavor and crunch. And let's see how we can peel this little guy. There we go. I've begun a love affair with red onions. Somehow or other, I hadn't used them for a while, or just in, specific recipes once in a while. But I'm finding that I really enjoy the flavor and the sparkle that the red onions add to a dish. Let's take this out of the way. And I'm going to chop about half of this onion in. It's a small one. And I'm going to chop into bite-sized pieces, maybe a little bit smaller. And we'll put those in. You can see how easily this goes together. There we go. And of course, you're getting not only good color and flavor, but you're also getting the vitamins and the antioxidants from the onion as well. And now, oh, it's starting to smell absolutely fabulous. I'm just going to give it a little mix. And I'm using wood because it won't bruise or cut into the sweet potatoes. So here we go. You can see how pretty that is. I just love that purple potato. Woo. There's one big piece in there. I think I'm going to cut that up. Here we go. Okay, and just mix carefully. And as I say, you don't want to bruise it, but we'll leave it over here. Now, I'm going to add some fresh rosemary. This is so wonderfully aromatic. And the way you take the fresh rosemary, we have these little sprigs that were planted in my in a glass of water, as was the parsley in my refrigerator. And they stayed for days. So if you're not ready to use it when you first get it, here we go. You can please buy it fresh and organic if you can. And then you take the rosemary leaves, and I'll show you on the bigger stalk how you usually do it. Take the top and then just bring your fingers down, and you can pull it right off there. And you can do that with most herbs, which makes it a lot easier to use. And then, of course, you can take the others off and add it to the pile. And I'll probably end up with about, 2 tablespoons of rosemary, and we happen to love rosemary. So we're going to put it all in. Let's see, I can measure it if you like, and we'll see what we have. All right. I'm going to chop it up pretty fine so that nobody ends up with rosemary leaves in between their teeth. Here we go. And of course, the rosemary adds a number of different nutritional elements, and we can go over that another time. And I think my knife needs sharpening. By the way, just as a aside, when you're working in the kitchen, please make sure that you're working with good tools and a good knife that is sharp enough to just do the job without you having to really go through it and push. This one is almost there. It needs to be sharpened, and because I use it all the time, so I will sharpen it again. I've got about a heaping teaspoon of the rosemary, which I'm going to add and just sprinkle in here. Okay, we'll mix that up, get that circulating. You notice there's no dressing yet, and that's the best part. It is so simple. If you like, you can use a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm going to sprinkle just a teeny bit of salt, not even half a teaspoon. Just grind a wee bit of the salt in here. That's all. That's maybe an eighth of a teaspoon. And we have our pepper. As I say, this is something that you can do in a hurry. We like pepper. And mix it up again. There we go. The aromas are absolutely fabulous, and it's simply the potatoes, the peppers, and the onions. And it's really, as I say, it's a very simple, easy dish to do. Now, in the recipe in the book, you'll find it calls for sliced raw almonds. And I've made it that way, and it's really good. But we decided that we preferred pumpkin seeds. And these are roasted and salted pumpkin seeds. That's why I didn't want to add any more salt to the salad. So I'm going to take a handful, a small handful of the pumpkin seeds. It's about a tablespoon. And sprinkle. Yeah, maybe a little bit more. You like the crunch. And I do keep them in a glass jar in the refrigerator. And we'll mix it again, just a little. Okay. And now for my parsley. You can use Italian parsley or the flat leaf, or you can use the curly. I'm going to use curly today, and as you can see, it's in a glass of water, so it stays wonderfully fresh. And I'm just going to use mostly the top leaves, not too much of the stems. And I do save my stems and the rest of the parsley for, putting into smoothies, because it's really good, and it's good for you. Not only does it save your breath, but it tastes good. And it does have a bunch of wonderful minerals and vitamins to it. There we go. Ooh, that came out to be a lot of parsley. So I'm going to take about the equivalent of about a tablespoon, because this is a smaller recipe than I usually make. It's a smaller batch than I usually make. And take about a tablespoon and sprinkle that in. And I'll take the rest of this and use it in something else. Actually, I have some chicken that's brewing, so I can put that in there, or you can put it in a smoothie. Now, I'm not going to mix it this time. I'm going to add some craisins or raisins. This time I have raisins, and I really like the idea of the craisins as well. I'm going to take about a tablespoon of the raisins, maybe a little bit more. So now we're going to have the sweet potatoes, and we're going to make our dressing. Okay, here we go. I'm going to toss this just a little, gently. I just want you to see how pretty that is. I think you can see the wonderful colors. Isn't that beautiful? I just love this, because not only is it pretty, it's good for you, and it tastes great. How can you go wrong? I'm going to take my lemons. If you were wondering what the dressing is, it's very simple. You noticed how few, excuse me while I deep hit the lemon, how few spices or anything we added. I'm not even putting in garlic, which is one of my favorites. But what I'm doing is I'm going to take approximately 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. That's approximate. You can use more or less depending on your taste. Okay. That's half a lemon, or a teeny one. Now I'm going to cut another half of this lemon and squeeze that in. And this is how simple this recipe is. As I said, I think that might be enough. That was a very juicy lemon. By the way, when you're picking things like lemons and limes and oranges, if you find the thinnest skins and the tightest little bumps, the less bumps there are, the smoother the fruit is, the more mature it is, and the more juice you'll get from it. So that's another little hint I hope you can use when you're shopping. There we go. I think that's enough in the lemon juice department. And I'm going to mix that up. Lemon juice is an absolutely wonderful addition to almost anything because it sparkles the flavors. And okay, and now for the final ingredient, olive oil. Get yourself a pure olive oil that is really good. I'm going to measure this because I don't want to overdo the olive oil. And I wouldn't overdo it normally, but I just want everybody to be able to see. This is a tablespoon and a half measure. So I'm going to start with that. And maybe another half. So we'll have about 2.5 tablespoons of olive oil. And that's quite a bit, actually. But you don't want to overdo it because you don't want it to be flowing all over the place. And actually, there we have it. It's absolutely bright and shiny and pretty. And let's see if we can take some of that and put it on a plate so you can see how beautiful it is. And I get to taste it. As I said, you can use this as a side dish, or you can use it as a meal. It makes a lovely summertime light meal. And you could add something like a little piece of chicken on the side, a broiled chicken or baked chicken. You can do that at the same time that you bake the potatoes because they do bake for about 40 minutes. But if you're going to do something like a chicken breast, I would recommend putting it into foil or somehow sealing it with a little bit of teeny bit of olive oil so that you keep the juices in, because sometimes baking will tend to dry it out. If you're using other parts of the chicken, that's fine. You can still put them in a baking pan with some foil on top to keep the juices in. And if you really want to have some fun, put a little bit of white wine in with it so that the juices come through. So there we have it. And I'm going to give it the taste test because I have made this before. Yum. The blend of flavors of everything in there is really why they call this amazing. And again, you're on USA Global TV. This is the United Kitchens. I am Ricki Mckenna, and you can reach me and find my book, which is on Amazon. And I'll show you the cover just so you don't forget. It's Yes You Can. It's a very positive approach to cooking and to really lifestyle. And this is on page 49. It's called The Amazing Potato Salad. You can also go to Amazon, and it's so nice to take these off and have clean hands. There we go. And what I'll do now is after we eat lunch, I'll have some leftover salad, which I will put into a glass container. I love these. I really prefer glass to plastic, and it seals beautifully. So it'll be a sealed container where we'll put the leftover, Or if I were to have this for dinner tonight, it's already done. So I'll put it in the refrigerator, cool it down, and then it'll be ready for either the meal or a side dish. And let's see, just to give you a little bit more information about some of the veggies in there, the red peppers are excellent, especially if you're on a low potassium diet. Red peppers, yellow peppers, orange peppers are some very good foods to eat if you have any kidney problems. So you need low potassium. And let's see, what else do I have in here about sweet potato? We did go over, yes, they're also a good, this is kind of a, not a contradiction to what I just said about the potassium, the low potassium, but the sweet potatoes are a good source of potassium and magnesium, and they can both of them help to regulate your blood pressure. So if you're looking for something that helps regulate your blood pressure naturally, look to foods such as the sweet potato. And there are, actually the sweet potatoes are higher in vitamin A and antioxidants that boost your immune system, and they help you maintain healthy skin and vision. So, and actually one sweet potato provides more than 100% of your recommended daily allotment of vitamin A, according to the USDA. So there's a little more nutritional information for you. And that's really what I wanted to say. So you'll find the book on Amazon. It is on, Yes, You Can Eat Well and Eat Right. And the rest of it says, and find the joy of cooking. And one of my favorite mentors, who I really would love to have been able to meet, is Julia Child. And I love the fact that she presents foods and ways to cook that are easy, simple, and sometimes she does complex things. I prefer really to do the simple ones so that we can end up with something 1, 2, 3 quick, as we did today. We have a little teeny more olive oil. Now I will serve this as a main course, just to let you know, with either a piece of toast, a good piece of French bread, which would be wonderful with some butter, and you can crisp the French bread in your oven or toast it somehow and then put a little bit of butter on it. The other thing that would be fun is if you were to put some preserves on it with the butter or just by themselves, something like a tomato preserve, because there are no tomatoes in here, although it's got the gorgeous tomato color because of the peppers. You could also use a red pepper jelly, or even something like an apricot jelly, which would add to the flavor contrast. It brings together so many wonderful aromas and flavors. So just this alone as a main course, I would use a toasted French bread, or you could always use something like muffins to go with it and make it a little more festive. And especially if you have something like an orange muffin, or, with the fruit infused in it. And then as a side salad, it's really good with something like ribs. If you're going to bake some ribs or barbecue some ribs, this is really good for outdoors. Instead of the usual potato salad that most of us have for barbecues or outdoor festivities, this is absolutely a marvelous change. And even people who didn't particularly care for sweet potatoes said they really liked the salad because of all the combinations of the flavors. And this is the wonderful thing about food. When you combine certain things, the potatoes, the peppers, the parsley, and that wonderful red onion, it brings together kind of a symphony of flavors. And as you know, if you're listening to a symphony, if there's something missing or somebody's off, it doesn't sound right. So when you've got something like this where everything works together, as in the symphony, it's an absolutely beautiful song that you can sing and present for yourself, for your guests, and anyone else who's interested. And as I say, it will keep for several days in the refrigerator. Put it in the sealed container. And if anybody has any comments or questions, Dr. Jacqueline, if you have any comments or questions, I'd be happy to answer some. In the meantime, you can find me at rickiskitchen.net, which is on your internet. And also go to my Patreon page where I post the recipes. That would be Patreon. I'm not sure if that's on there, but it's patreon.com/Ricki's Kitchen. And it's RICKSKITCHEN. And I believe Dr. Jacqueline has this recipe, and we're going to post that for you on her site and on YouTube when you see the video. Look for the recipe, and there'll be a wonderful picture of the salad so you can have a reference point. And it's the amazing sweet potato salad, an amazing dish. Thank you. Beautiful to look at. Yes, it is. And it does taste great. So that's what I was going to say. The people who even said to me, well, I really don't like sweet potatoes. I said, oh, heck, try it. And in the middle of the department store, in the book department where I was showing my book, people did try it and they responded so positively, even children. I had several kids, and they were probably anywhere from 3 to 8 or 10 come in, and they loved it. So this is a great dish, and you can have them help you prepare this. So either your children or your grandchildren, have them help you prepare this. And when you do that, they can rip the parsley apart, or if they can use a knife, and they can carefully, then have them help you cut up some of the vegetables. So it really makes for a wonderful family dish. And that's really all I have to say today, except for, as my 60th show, which is kind of mind-boggling, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching USA Global TV and the United Kitchens. And I wish you all a healthy, happy, wonderful weekend. Come back again on the first Friday of next month, which is June, and we'll have some special recipe for you then. Thank you so much for being with us. And again, hearty appetite.